everyone. So happy to be back for another episode. Happy October. I feel like this year is flying by. I can't believe it's almost 2024 already. It is wild. I feel like the older I get, and I'm not even that old because I just turned 30 really a month ago. Time just flies by so quickly, and which is just wild to think about because I feel like, when you're told by grandparents or parents, the older you get, time moves so quickly, and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But in reality, it definitely does. So I am excited for fall, leaning into the season because it leads into the holidays and I love Christmas. Just love Christmas decorations, Christmas music, Hallmark Christmas movies like Hallmark and Lifetime, those cheesy, and now Netflix, cheesy rom-com Christmas movies. I love them. Yeah, as some people could say, they're unrealistic, which is true, but I more so love them because there's minimal conflict that's always resolved and they're just good vibes. And I feel like during the holidays, who doesn't need more good vibes? A lot of them are also set in places where it's actually like snowing or the holiday spirit like really comes alive in them. And I think growing up in Southern California, I loved it because I was like, look at the snow. And it's just like true Christmas vibes from what you imagine. And then watching them in New York was even more surreal. So now that I'm back in California, I will definitely be watching them well, really fall and holidays. They usually, at least Hallmark does some fall harvest ones, which are super cute and they're usually, like very fall vibes. So if you are into really honestly lighthearted movies and holidays, I would definitely check them out. I love that they're also, I feel like over the past few years, they've been more diverse in their casting across like Hallmark and Lifetime movies, which is nice because I feel like personally, I'm seeing more cultures represented and not just like one type of person. And no offense to white people, but these movies are becoming more diverse and more representative of different communities because we could always use more representation. So, loving Hallmark movies, and I can't wait for more to come out. I mean, I feel like usually the fall harvest ones come out around October, so keep a lookout. I will link to some in social. There's usually a list, at least for Hallmark, of the movies that they're going to be releasing. And I think they usually do them on like the weekends or Friday nights. It's a whole thing. It's like my version of Disney Channel when I was a kid. I used to love those movie releases, like movie dropping on a Friday, new movie like Luck of the Irish or Cheetah Girls or Lizzie McGuire movie, Smart House. For any of you millennials, I'm sure you are resonating with these movies. And for anyone who was a Disney kid and loved watching the movies, you know what's up. So I'm here for the Hallmark movies, and reality can be overwhelming sometimes in good ways and in not so good ways. So I love the messages. For those of you who love to hate on them, that's fine. It's not your cup of tea, but I am drinking the Kool-Aid and I hope the holiday season feels like it lasts a long time. It's also my first holiday with Marco, which will be fun. Last year, during the holidays, we were still long distance. So I went and visited him for Thanksgiving and got to spend time with his family. But then I was with my family over Christmas and I actually got COVID, unfortunately, for the second time. So I was actually quarantined for most of the holiday because I tested positive the day before Christmas Eve, which for someone who is obsessed with Christmas was almost depressing, but watching New Girl and I got to be with my dad. It's just me and him, like his side, because my parents are divorced. So for my dad, I'm an only child, but on my mom's side, I have 3 brothers. So I got to quarantine with my dad, and he nursed me back to health, which I appreciate so much. And luckily, I recovered quickly and had tested negative. So I went and spent New Year's with Marco and got to see his family again. So spent a lot of my holidays last year in the cold, which was nice because it did make it feel more like the holidays. But this year I'll be in California. So it'll be really nice to get to be with my family and for Marco to get to be here and for us to get to start to make some traditions together now that we are living together. And I can't wait. So more to come, and I will definitely be sharing. I know that for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I've been sharing a little bit of my fall decor since I love decorating and I'm now in the suburbs where I have easy access to stores like Target and Home Goods and TJ Maxx and Walmart and Five Below. I mean, the list goes on, but I can't wait to start decorating for Christmas, especially now that we have 2 bedrooms. Most likely going to be putting a Christmas tree in the office so that when we are in the office and spending like some of the day in there, we just feel the Christmas spirit. So luckily, Marco is just as big into the holidays as I am. I'm probably a little bit more, to be honest, but he is a holiday person. So I feel like that helps with me wanting to go a little over the top with decorating. But it's honestly for me and just something I really enjoy. It's less for other people. So, as we head into October, I would love to share some of the learnings from my recent course that I took with Amy Porterfield, who is a very successful entrepreneur. She recently released a book this year called 2 Weeks Notice, and she has been an entrepreneur for, I think, about 14 years, so it's something that she's not new to, but she is so great in the way that she teaches and inspires and encourages other entrepreneurs like myself, and I wanted to share some of the learnings from this Course Confident digital online course that I recently took in September. So the gist of it went over 2 weeks, and there were some live sessions that were always recorded. So I usually watch the recording after work, and then mindset moments that would happen in the mornings, and those usually would happen before I'd sign online to work. So it was really nice that I got to join those most days. And those ones were just 15 minutes, just setting your mind for the day. And a lot of the times, Amy would relate to whatever she would talk about, would relate to what the topic for her live session that day was. But overall, they were such positive and also real talk moments that I feel like just really put me in the mindset that I didn't know I needed to be in to conquer the day, and were so empowering. So I just wanted to share my gratitude for Amy's course. It gave me this newfound inspiration and confidence, which I guess is what the course was supposed to do, since the title of it, was Course Confident, to pursue my entrepreneurial passions and to not let the fear of something new and unknown deter me from exploring it. I feel like that's something that I have been grappling with recently of as I'm growing in new ways and tapping into my creativity more and trying to expand outside of even the podcast. Like, what do I like doing? How how can I spread my knowledge and things that I've learned to other people, all in an effort of inspiring others to take time to discover their own passion and take time to bring your dreams to life and manifest that positive mindset, the power of it is really what led me to taking Amy's course. Was just there's so many ways out there to reach people and to share your message and to do it just for the sake of paying it forward. And I love that so many people are actively doing it now with their like vlogging and also podcasts and just sharing their life on social media with the intention of empowering other people, because there are definitely, lots of things on the internet that are put on the internet unintentionally, which can have impacts that aren't always positive. But there are also so many people actively putting things out there that are positive and intentional and benefiting others. So I'm here for people that are doing this, and I hope to do more of it myself. So taking Amy's course inspired me to do that, and I signed up for another one of her courses, Digital Course Academy. It is starting this week, by the time this episode comes out, and it goes through the end of November. So it is the longest course that I will have taken, and it actually the Course Confident one that I took was $47. So really not a big investment. And I learned so much. And this Digital Course Academy was an investment, which was very scary to honestly invest in myself, because if, thinking about it, I don't invest in myself that much. Like, aside from maybe buying myself a cute top now here and then, or a new pair of shoes, or treating myself for my birthday, I do try to be mindful of how I spend my money, especially this year with the move and the cost of, a new apartment, cross country move. I did have a lot of fun trips last year, so just trying to be mindful of also, saving and thinking long term. So in investing in myself and in the spirit of being vulnerable and transparency, this course was just under $2,000, which to some of you who are listening are probably like, wow, what are you thinking? I can't believe like would spend the money on that. That's fine. Everyone has a right to their own opinions, but everyone is also on their own journey, and I'm on a journey, and I am deciding to invest in myself, and I am proud of myself for doing that. And part of investing in myself is also holding myself accountable, right? I am on this journey to continue to expand creatively, and as much as I'm learning so many things on my own, I'm also aware that there are a lot of people out there that have been very successful in being entrepreneurs and are sharing their knowledge that is worth something. I feel like sometimes we're in this day and age of we want everything for free and forget that people, spend sometimes their lives, sometimes they've gone to school, their career, they have life experience, and they have proven results. And in sharing that, obviously, sometimes people are sharing that for free. Sometimes they also are sharing more knowledge for a cost, and they're trying to make a living. So, supporting other women and entrepreneurs that are living their passions and sharing their gifts to the world does sometimes mean investing in them as well and helping build their communities. So I'm very excited to be joining Amy's course, and I can't wait to share all that I learn with everyone that's listening, and hopefully, take the next steps to launching my own digital course in the new year. So it's something that I have been noodling on and seemed a little daunting, like, where do I start? And this happened naturally and organically. When I signed up for Amy's course in September, the Course Confident, it was just to learn more about, digital courses and the opportunities out there. And I learned so many things that relate to digital course, but also just relate to being an entrepreneur and trying to take the next steps to continue to grow. And I am grateful for them. Some nuggets of inspiration that I've learned recently from Amy's course. I have a list of some things that I want to share. So I hope you resonate with this and take some things away and apply them in your life, and also find ways to continue learning and exploring your interests or sharing your gifts. Like, shout out to, one of my coworkers. And he mentioned this and we haven't really discussed it that much. So I need to pick his brain more, but he teaches a class at a university. He works full time, works out in his free time, and manages to teach a class at a university and is paying it forward with his life experiences to share with, the next generation. So it's people like that that are just doing them and sharing their passions with the world that I feel like can be some of the most fulfilled people. And I just want to encourage everyone to, take baby steps to finding ways that help you feel most fulfilled and most yourself, and so that you can live your ideal life. So, jumping straight in, um, some quotes from Amy that I really resonated with were, and from some of her people that she had, because she did have some people within her community share tips and advice. But one of the guests mentioned, you have no idea what will happen until you start doing it, and you won't know how good it can get unless you start doing it. So that really resonated with me because I feel like there's this thought and fear that creeps into your head sometimes when you are trying to do something that you haven't done before, and something feels like unknown and out of your comfort zone, and you maybe get stopped in your tracks because you're like, should I do that? Can I do that? Am I qualified enough to do that? Am I going to look dumb talking about this thing that, I'm not an expert in? Just do it. You have no idea what's going to happen until you start doing it, and you can start it and see how it goes. And if it's something that you may be feeling like you're not interested in doing anymore, or just that you're not enjoying spending your time and energy on, you can always pivot. So just start doing it and see what happens. Okay. A few other important lessons I learned from Amy were the 3 C's. And for those of you that are entrepreneurs, this is consistency, community, and conversion. And this really relates to people that are, trying to venture into really taking your side hustle or your passion to the next level. And um, whether that's monetizing it or just maybe doing it for a living, or spending more time on it, so that way you are spending more time intentionally aligned with things that you're passionate about. So I think for anything you're trying to pursue, the 3 C's I have been trying to apply to my personal life. So consistency, that's like keep showing up and doing the work. And, when others get impatient, you keep moving forward. So things take time, things take patience, and consistency, as Jenna Kutcher says, is queen. So keep doing you and keep moving forward. Keep your community in mind. This relates to also, especially when you're creating content, and whether that's a course or, you make things on Etsy and you paint, or, you're just anything that you're doing. always keep your community in mind as you're creating, because you're not ideally just creating for yourself. You're creating to share your gifts with, certain communities or specific groups of people. So keep them in mind. Like, what would be most helpful to them? If you had to like be in their shoes, what could you share with them that you wish you maybe would have like known or learned sooner, or positive messages that might resonate with them? And conversions. So, as you get to the conversions, the goal is to, move. And this is really for anyone that's trying to monetize your passion, is the goal is to move followers in your community, like subscribers, into paying customers. So how can you also create a product that is something your customers would be willing to pay for? Like, are you really offering a service and a value that you would pay for yourself? Because I feel like sometimes people, may attach a price tag to something, but really thinking about it, like, what is the value behind your offer? And is it resonating with your customers and your community? Because if you're, creating things and then asking people for money for them, but they're not offers that resonate with your community, you may find yourself in a pickle of, what am I doing wrong? And it's not necessarily that you're doing something wrong. It's just you have to keep your community in mind if you are trying to get conversions. And that goes from even just creating content that you're not even necessarily paying for. If you're trying to build your community, but there is no intention behind the messages that you're sharing, the content that you're sharing, how you're showing up, you may find that it takes longer to build that community and reach those people. So that just goes back to, being intentional with just your time, your energy, and how you show up for the world. It really does matter when you're trying to make an impact. And I think that the more intention you can put behind your actions, the more successful you will be, if that is something that you're looking for. And the more momentum that you will continue to build. So I just wanted to share some of my learnings with you all, and I hope that you resonate from them. The final one that I wanted to share is DSD. So I am obsessed with this. It's something that Amy actually learned and gave credit, which I love. She gives credit to people that she learns from, but she gave credit to her husband's actually ex-wife, who she was friends with, and not going to get into the story too much, but she had known and they got divorced, and she actually set Amy up with her ex-husband, which I know sounds like crazy and to most people, because it's like, who would do that? But she just knew that they were very compatible, and sometimes relationships don't work out and people are better suited with other people. So kudos to that woman who, had that perspective and saw the bigger picture. But something that and sorry for those of you that are listening and invested, and I don't have these names top of mind. But Amy Porterfield had shared this with me. So DSD, do something different. Um, Something she repeated throughout her training, and it's something that I am trying to apply to my day-to-day life, and I think that you can all apply as well, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. So DSD your way through, try DSDing your way through this week or tomorrow. And by doing that, you're doing something different. Sometimes we like to approach things the same way, and then we find that we're either not getting the results that we want, or, maybe we're just not happy with the journey that we are going on as we're trying to get the results. And we're like, where are we doing something wrong? Or why is this not working? So with Amy and her de-esteeing, that is just like being open to trying new ways to do things because you never know what the results are going to be. And it is better to pivot and try something new and keep an open mind than to be, in my opinion, so focused and fixated on this one way that you think is the right way to do it. The way that someone maybe has done something or built their career or built their following isn't necessarily the way that you're going to do it. Everyone's journey and path is different, even if there are similarities. So try de-esteeing your way through the week this week and keep an open mind to, how you're approaching the day. And in de-esteeing, I hope that you will find yourself growing because, you know, to do something different is to keep an open mind and be open to new perspectives. And with that comes growth, whether you realize it or not. So I hope that you all resonated and are resonating with some of these things that I'm sharing. And I can't wait to keep sharing more things that I learn from my courses with you. And I'm so excited to keep growing. For October, most of the episodes will be around learning and this idea of education, also with maintaining momentum in our growth. So, a big part of life is, and what I'm starting to realize as I am also pushing myself to learn more in my personal time, is learning. And there's so much out there and so many ways to learn that aren't just academic. Like I was someone who maybe thought about getting my master's degree at some point, but I also spent a lot of money going to undergrad and wanted to be sure that if I did ever get my master's one day, it was because I, either needed that degree to pursue a certain career or job or advance. And so I've always been curious about it, but never pursued that. And as I've been taking these trainings and courses, it's opened my mind up to the fact that there's so many different ways to learn and grow. And growing creatively is just as important depending on, what your passions are and what your goals are in life as academically. And you can get so much out of it. Um, so that is my encouragement to everyone to take some time to find ways that you can grow that maybe just aren't academic, like whether that's growing in your knowledge of wellness and you wanting to be more active and work out or just eat healthier or growing in creative ways, like I've been doing, or growing in ways that are helping advance your career. So whether that's certificates or, going back to school and anything that's going to help get you to living a more fulfilled life and aligning your actions and intentions with things that you're also passionate about. And I am very self aware that not everyone has time or, money to spend on their passions. So I empathize with that. And if you find yourself in that state, I would encourage you to like sit down and think to yourself, how can you start to make time to spend time on your passions? So whether that's, saving money weekly or monthly so that you can splurge on yourself maybe once a year, or maybe it's scaling back on how you're spending money in another aspect of your life so that you can really put that towards your passion or being more creative. And same thing goes with time. How are you spending your time? Is it between work and life and TikTok? And could you be spending less time on TikTok and more time learning or doing something that is also going to help you grow as a person and help make you more fulfilled? So, just something to noodle on as I wrap up this episode. And I am very excited to continue sharing and learning and growing with everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week, and thank you so much for supporting the podcast and listening. It really means a lot to me that I have people that are, actively listening and hoping that you resonate with the messages that I'm putting out there. And it is helping you build a life that you want and just helping in any sort of way in your day. So I will talk to you soon, and I love you all. Bye.
Music and editing done by Marco. You can find him at midnight, MIDNITE_mind80 on Instagram for more of his work.